How's it, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Marketing Fix Show. Before we get into introducing today's guest, I want to tell you that the Marketing Fix Show is sponsored by the Digital School of Marketing. And that is where you go if you want to learn the survival skill of the future, ladies and gentlemen. www.thedigitalschoolofmarketing.co.za. Have a look. All their courses are accredited locally and internationally. And for the month of August, if you like and subscribe, and if you follow our podcast, you stand the chance to win 11,500 Rands worth of courses, or one course worth 11,500 Rand. So, the Digital School of Marketing, have a look and make sure to nurture the survival skill of the future. Today's guest, Sean Wilson Smith.
Hello.
How's it
Jandre,
going?
good and you?
Good, man.
Thanks for having me.
So, you know what? I thought about introducing you to everybody, but I think you're going to probably do a much better job than I would. So maybe just quickly introduce yourself and explain why you're here today.
Well, I'm here today because you mailed me and said, come and chat to me.
Exactly.
And I thought that was fantastic, as this being my first podcast and my first kind of outspokenness with another professional, which I think is very exciting. But my man, I'm a filmmaker by trade. I come from advertising as an art director. We could probably go into a lot of history at another time.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I have pivoted to a startup of mine called VIDR, VIDR.net, pronounced VIDR.
I wasn't sure on how to pronounce it when I saw it the first time, but yeah,
lots
VIDR.
of people be like VIDR.
Exactly.
Like, it's just VIDR. Let's just stick with VIDR. And we're producing fast video, insta video content. Because I saw that it was just ridiculous how long it could take and what the costs were and how long the edits came out. So 3.5 years ago, I decided, all right, we can make this faster. We can make this more nimbly with agile gear. We're going to use tech. We're going to shoot directly to portrait, and we're going to scale our business. We can scale our business by training and upskilling young, talented, what we would call VCPs, what we do call VCPs, video content producers, and giving them a bag of gear and setting them loose and marketing them. And that's the big vision of VIDR.
Okay.
And as a founder, that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Dude, I want to thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
The team introduced me to your work and your agency or your company's work. So shout out to Shay and TJ.
There we go.
They came to me and said, look, this guy's doing some amazing stuff. I think they found you on Instagram. And I had a look and I was quite blown away. And we haven't done a show about content creation as of yet. And without content, you have nothing to tell the world, really. And without video, because that's predominantly what you do, if I'm correct, or
Yes.
do you do photography as well?
Well, yeah, photography as well, but mainly focusing on Insta video.
And video is such a big player in the content space at the moment. Like studies and research and very smart people have said that 90% of the website traffic is going to be video in the next 2 or 3 years.
And it's happening now.
Exactly.
If content is king, web video is the ace of spades.
Exactly.
That's what I say.
No, you're hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
So you're here, and obviously we are more of an SME focused podcast, and you've touched on two things: creating content at a fast pace. One, affordable fee. Two, doesn't always have to be hundreds and thousands of rands. And that's what SMEs need today. They need people who can create content with a quick turnaround time, and people who understand the social game or the digital game, because it's all about contextual content at the end of the day. And I think that's what we're going to get into today. So how SMEs can get into creating their own content, and you guys shoot most of your content on your phone, all of it, maybe, I don't know.
All of it.
That's crazy.
We've literally focused on taking the iPhone, because it works with the iPad. So we've chosen those two brands. And we've put it on steroids, basically.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that means that anybody can really create their own content. And obviously, experts and professionals make a difference in quality. We understand.
Yes.
But anybody can go and just create a quick 30-second video and run it as an ad and potentially drive new business their way.
Absolutely. And when it comes to that as user-generated content, that's magical, because what we've done is we've taken the phone, and I was filming, and this could actually be used for branded content. I'm going to go to brands now.
Okay.
And I'm going to shoot. They've never seen this.
Yeah.
I'm shooting directly to portrait. I'm cutting it on site on my iPad, and I'm putting text on it and putting their logo on it. And you can't do that on Instagram. So
Yeah.
there are limitations when it comes to a person creating their own video content.
Of course.
But what I said when we put the iPhone on steroids, it's like we can literally use this to make a business. And that's one part of VIDR that we've kind of put together and packaged as a company.
Yeah.
And so then VIDR became VIDR.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's start with
Yes.
exactly your background. Maybe just a quick recap. We don't want to bore everybody there, but I'm sure
No,
with
it's
your
bloody
history,
fucking boring.
with your history, we're definitely not going to bore anybody. I'm confident of that.
Yeah,
but maybe
yeah.
just give people some context of where you come from and how VIDR kind of came to life.
Brilliant. So, I think after school, after matriculating, I went overseas, came back, and decided that I need to do a course. So I did a DTP course, graphic design.
What is
and
DTP? Sorry.
Desktop publishing.
What is that?
So if you've got a piece of packaging that Kellogg's All Brand Flakes, you've got to lay that design out flat pack. You've got your die cuts. That's more finished art, but DTP is manipulating products and items within an Adobe program and then exporting that as a PDF or a finished piece of artwork for printing in papers, or having a finished flat pack All Brand Flakes
And that's
box
what people can study?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of like graphic design, but also DTP is more, also like layout. DTP desktop publishing is quite a broad range of things.
Okay.
Book layouts.
There's a science behind it.
There's a science behind it. It's manipulating text and pictures to make it look.
I like that. I agree with
freaking
that.
Amazing. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
And from there?
From there, I moved into Hurt & Carter. It's because Hurt & Carter had the Checkers Hyper retail.
Is that an agency?
Yeah, Hurt & Carter was a publishing, printing house.
Okay.
But they shared the brands. They shared the piece of business with BBDO.
Okay.
BBDO back in the day in Chiapini Street in Cape Town. So I moved into Hurt & Carter. I did Checkers Hyper retail ads, moving products around and putting prices on. Lots of boerewors, lots of braais, lots of tinned canned foods. It was a gas for 2.5 years. And then I was invited into BBDO by Peter Gausses, who was the creative director there, along with Ivan, along with Sean Bond and Gavin Williams, who were there as a team. And that's when I got into the advertising agency space.
Yeah.
And that kind of excited me. After BBD, I went to Saatchi & Saatchi for 2.5 years. Did through the line kind of art direction and graphic design.
Yes.
That's where I really cut my teeth on what brands are.
Okay.
Saatchi & Saatchi back then, and this was, oh man, I'm gonna give my age away, but it was a long time ago. They focused on love marks, and that really hit home for me. A brand as a love mark.
Okay.
Where consumers are not, it doesn't just become a must-have. It's like it becomes your best friend, your
Yes.
love mark. You can't live without it. My iPhone is that brand. We all know is a love mark.
Yeah.
And so then after that, I kind of just left the industry. I got a little bit disillusioned by what was happening in advertising. I got sick of it because sometimes people are still people and pushing brands and let's go, sell. Became a bit too much. So I thought I'd give myself a little bit of space and time. And that's when I picked up a camera, just a Canon. And even started shooting on DV tape. Started off with Vice magazine doing their launch party. And everyone was just like, dude, you've really got a knack for shooting and editing.
Yeah, you've got an eye for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just became intuitive. And I think, especially when it comes to filmmaking, you have to have that intuitive sense.
How much of creating your own content as a business owner now do you think is dependent on being intuitive? Is it something that you can just teach somebody, or like, do you think there needs to be? I believe there needs to be an element of just that intuitive kind of like going, this is going to work, and I know it's going to work, and then it does work.
You know what? I think there comes a time after experience, as even no matter what kind of business you're in, the experience of it has taught me how I like to deal with my approach to filmmaking, my approach to brands, also my approach to really hitting hard, like also just saying no and scrapping that and really refocusing and repivoting. Intuitively, yes, that intuition is very important.
And it's not just something that you can teach yourself overnight. That's the problem. It comes with experience, right?
It comes with experience, and it comes with listening and really just saying, oh, I have an intuition and I'm going to listen to it. It's just been the way I've been brought up, as a more of a spiritual kind of human being with my mother and my family.
Yeah.
And so I've relied on that quite a lot, as a business owner and growing my business, and also, as a founder, I've got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a lot of stuff to do.
You wear a lot of hats.
Man,
you wear all of them.
Yeah. And that's we can get into that later. That's kind of been a bit overwhelming, but I'm still here, right?
And you're doing all right. And it's post-lockdown, and a lot of companies are not here anymore. So kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then obviously studied, got that job, picked up your Canon, started shooting. And how did VIDR come to life?
Yeah, VIDR. I know it's confusing.
No, VIDR. Sorry about that.
No, all good. I was just getting tired of carrying around the freaking gear, mate. You know?
Yeah.
My gosh.
Shay knows.
Yeah.
Well, I know now because I'm carrying his gear for him because he's got a broken foot.
Oh, really? Dang. You planned this, didn't you? Smart kid. I carrying around big gear, getting into people's faces at events, DSTV events, even in corporate spaces where I'm shooting a design thinking kind of session or project with Standard Bank, as I did. You don't want to come in with this big stuff.
Yeah.
First of all. Second of all, this is just exactly what you need. It's fit for purpose to go to web. And I was like, I can't. 3.5 years ago, I was like, I can't. Even 4 years ago, I can't do this anymore with the gear that I have.
Yeah.
It just. And I think as an entrepreneur, that kind of just fell in place quite naturally. It's like an entrepreneur is looking for the best way to offer a service to their clientele, whether it's through AI or whether it's through an online sales. But an entrepreneur sees new ways of doing things, easier ways of doing things.
Correct. Convenience, yeah.
Convenience, and really just having the client at the core of what you do. So I'd never seen like a company. So we were first to market 3.5 years ago when we came out with VIDR, and
Do you have competitors today?
None that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, I can search like iPhone videography.
I'm sure there might be. Yeah.
My dude, there are none.
Really?
There are none.
Because people don't believe that it's that easy. Not necessarily easy, but like that it's doable on a single device that, that everybody has got access to.
I don't know. I was just the first one to take the launch and say, well,
yeah,
I'm going to do this and I'm going to focus on it. And we've really kind of proven ourselves to be quite robust, and on a delivery sense, like I'm even shocked at sometimes what we deliver to clients. The client, I mean, I'm sitting in Markham with an iPad and I'm cutting the content on a changing couch in Markham, and I'm uploading minutes later a 15-second story that's following two prize winners. It's amazing.
What iPad is it? Like, is it a top of the range iPad? Is it a?
No, it's just. I mean, what model? Gosh, you got me.
Oh, is it?
It's just
I'm assuming it needs to be something that can handle the processing power. And I mean,
no, iPads these days. For the life of me, I can't remember what model. iPad 3. No, dude, it's the apps that we're using are powerful.
Yeah,
they've been well developed.
Does it come down to more
team.
of the software that more than the actual device itself that you use on the iPad, or?
You know what? Finding the right software to utilize to create the content quicker. Yeah. No, we've nailed that.
Okay.
Because this brand of editing software that we use, have made it so that it's very powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, I can export films within seconds.
Yeah.
It's got multi-layers to edit on, and they've changed that. They've updated it. They only used to have 2 layers. Now they got 3, 4, 5 layers. And this is all on my freaking iPad, man.
So with these layers, what do you mean by that?
Layers of stacked footage.
Okay.
So timelines, if you will.
From a video creation perspective.
Yes.
Okay, I know what a timeline is. Yeah, Shay's told me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
so
it.
multiple audio layers underneath multiple kind of
and in the
visual-
past you won't really necessarily be able to do that. You weren't able to do that on a normal device.
Yeah,
you
like
needed
iMovie, like there's just ones that are just have tried to kind of
and because of that added feature and improvement, now you're able to produce a lot better content.
Yeah.
Okay.
We search for the right tech. We when I say to a client or when I say to somebody, I film on my iPhone and I edit on my iPad, it's like that's just scratching the surface.
Do they ever go, okay, well, now we don't want to go with you anymore?
You know what? It freaks people out.
Yeah.
It freaks people out on many different levels.
Because you sound like a teenager that just came out of school and could have started his business.
I know. But then there's the other side of it, which is the tech part of it. Like, we're utilizing tech. We're utilizing what we have in my pocket.
And people don't understand how powerful that is.
No. Although, one of them did recently. Should I go into that?
Yeah, touch on
it. I mean, so I walked into At Home just the other day in Santon. And I thought, I'm going to just do a little test for them. I shot a couple of products in store. I edited something and literally sent a DM via LinkedIn to Mr. Chris Swart, who's the head of At Home. And subsequent to that, I had sent out an email at 1:00 that afternoon and he's on my database.
Okay.
He saw my DM. He replied to me straight away saying, "You will not believe what happened." And I was like, well, what are you talking about? He says, I've just sent my marketing team your emailer. And I've just seen what you've sent me, this 15-second test that you've shot in our store in Santon. We dig it. And the mail that he had sent to his team was, we need to get hold of these peeps.
Dude, that's incredible. And I want to touch on 2 things that you did there.
Yeah.
I'm in the marketing space, sales space, cold outreach. It's how I started my business, where you just hit someone up and be like, yo, I can add value.
Yes.
Trust me, and here's why.
Yes.
And then it changed to, that happens all the time. So now you have to add value before someone really gives you a chance or an opportunity to really articulate what else you can do for them. And you did that. You used a platform, LinkedIn, which is extremely powerful, which we've talked about and going to talk more about. We've got someone coming on board in the next couple of weeks.
Fantastic.
You've used LinkedIn, which is a great platform to reach out to business owners. So if you are selling services to another business, LinkedIn is where you should be hanging out. And you did that. You literally just DM'd the right person and you gave him straight up value. You'd be like, dude, I can help you with this. And what happened from that? Please, I'm curious.
He said, we're having a meet. We're getting on a call with my team ASAP tomorrow.
And?
Oh, well, no, we've chatted. And the team, Renee and Alexis and Chris and me.
All keen.
Okay. You know, I mean, I can see this coming. What I decided to venture into 3.5 years ago, I saw it coming. I didn't just make a company because, oh, let's just be smart and like let's just.
Yeah.
I know, like as far as I'm concerned, like the future of video content is going to be us and our scaled network delivering video content to a bunch of brands and SMEs and companies on the go.
I love it.
Because that's just the best way to do it. It's just a no-brainer.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I really enjoyed that. So next up, like, I want to talk about the importance of really content, right? So if you want to advertise on any digital platform, I mean, we're a marketing fix show, we're a digital agency, we're digital advocates, even though there's room for traditional advertising, depending on the brand, depending on the market, depending on budgets and all other stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want to put something out into the world that needs to be a message, that message has to be content. Because nobody's going to run an ad as written text, except if you're doing Google search ads. But as opposed to Google search ads and maybe the old cold email here and there, like you always need something to show. So if you're going to advertise on Facebook, you need visuals. If you're going to advertise on Instagram, you need visuals. If you advertise on YouTube, you're going to need visuals. If you advertise a marketing mailer, you need to have visuals. So essentially, whatever you're going to be advertising on in a digital perspective, even a digital billboard, you need visuals. So essentially, creating content is absolutely crucial. We know that video is, taking over. Let's maybe talk about, one, the importance of content, and two, the importance of video and what makes video different than just a normal photo or just a normal created, designed image.
Cool. Content, the concept of content is just so old now. How many? 15 years old?
Yeah, definitely more than a decade.
Yeah. So, duh.
Well,
It's
content's
like-
been around forever, but I mean, in essence, the whole market has understood for the last decade that content is important.
Yes, is king. I
Yeah.
mean, that just being said,
Bill
content
Gates.
is king. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sometimes puts me to sleep because the fact of the matter is, like, yes, video is now the most consumed item of content, if you could call it that, item
Yeah.
of content. People love video. It's a no-brainer. Definitely a no-brainer.
Are there specific
What is-
elements why? I mean, from my side, I would think there's an emotional connection. You get a lot more information. There's always a sense of mix between education and entertainment elements. So it's almost like an edutainment kind of vibe, depending on what you're doing.
Do you know what it is? Video makes people feel.
Yeah.
It's
I
feel.
like that.
Video offers somebody a choice whether to feel this way or that way, and it's real life. It's real life in the palm of your hand or on your desktop, no matter where you are. It's real life. It's moving images. It's for real. So I think people kind of not only just love it for that and its educational kind of purpose, or its visual impact that it has, but people learn from it. People again start to make better choices for themselves. And I think when it comes to branding and branded content and within video, definitely that's important. I mean, I say to my kind of database, and I say this all the time, if you're not using video content as part of your strategy, you have been living under a rock for the last 5 years.
And the odds are, if you're a consumer focused business, then you're probably going backwards as well.
Even if you're not a consumer focused business, if you're just an agency, create content that people want to see.
That's what we do.
Yes.
We sell to businesses, and we try and make it sexy in some way, shape, or form.
There we go.
And
It's great.
Yeah.
What you do is great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. Nowadays, what I'm feeling is that you've got to make content regardless. You've got to make video regardless.
Yeah.
Even if it's freaking boomerangs in the background. A couple of agencies I've seen doing that. That's great.
Instagram stories.
Instagram stories, boomerangs, fun at the office, spinning in a chair. What pitch are you going into? Even brands like head of brands. Create content within the office. Who's the brand? All these closed doors about brands and agencies and closed doors. Fuck that. Personally, at this point in time, I think ad agencies and agencies are throttling the brands that they have in their stables.
How so?
So there's contracts.
Yeah.
There's retainers with
Yeah.
big brands.
Yeah.
You win. You pitch for a business. You win a big business. That's a 2-3 year camp. That's a 2 year kind
Yeah.
of retainer.
Yeah.
Now, according to the budget that the agency gets from the brand, there's strategies. Which campaigns are we running? Like if it's for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, so they've locked themselves into the traditional
Way of thinking. And
way of
doing
thinking
things.
of agencies. Were like, no, we're not gonna do that because you are with us.
Yeah.
We've signed a retainer. We've checked out our strategy, and it's all
And you signed off on it a year ago.
yes, yes. And now things have changed, but no. And I've just found closed doors, and obviously through this time has been really difficult for brands and agencies and SMEs and everyone. It's been a shit show. But the fact of the matter is like agencies everyone's quite scarce, and a brand's responsibility is to engage with their consumers directly. And I just think sometimes agencies really they're all still running on digital campaign ideas. Even if it's digital, even if it's traditional, TVC, radio, there's different ways to get to your market. But I believe that that's all kind of falling away now.
I agree with you. Let me tell you why. I believe direct response marketing is the future.
100%.
Video content that makes people feel, like you've said, like essentially connecting with the customer on a level that you just weren't able to do so many years ago. So technology allows you now to connect with the customer at a different level. So you were saying Instagram stories, showing behind the scene stuff, what happens. So and I think we did this and then it didn't launch, or it did launch and then we pulled it, but we did a meet the team interview. So everybody gets interviewed, like a little bit of a funny way of introducing someone to the business, saying this is the team, and then this is Gilbert. He's our head of performance and strategy. And then it's like a 3-minute interview with Gilbert, like who he is, what he likes. And
that did great for you.
well,
I'm sure.
the first round did amazingly well, because essentially what happens, I can see in Google Analytics that people go to the About Us page.
Yes,
and as
brilliant.
opposed to just having 100 words of like, we're an agency that strives for excellence and performance, and really, that's so subjective, let's be honest. What we did is that, like, saying, look, hey, we're all about results, because that's what we do, direct response marketing. We give them a couple of case studies that proves that, and then we show them the team, and the team expresses the weird, funky side of who they are.
Human beings.
And people resonate with that, and people go,
Yes.
hey, like, I like that guy because I like the same stuff as he
Exactly.
does or she does, and I like the fact that they just straight down to the core of it. And that's helped a lot. And I think behind the scenes stuff, like you've mentioned, makes a massive difference. And we're able to connect with our customers like we've never been able to connect with them before.
There we go.
Like I said, direct response marketing, in my opinion, is definitely the way of the future. So the traditional way of advertising is flawed, and it definitely needs to change.
It's an old dinosaur, mate.
Yeah.
And on another level, there's all these big, rich, white men up at the top. I'm also just furious about that.
Mad Men.
Madmen, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so strange that, like, having moved up to Joburg in a pandemic, and now I'm here to offer my VIDR out to Joburg. I'm coming back to my hometown. I know that it's a lot easier to actually create more content because Joburg's bigger. I came from Cape Town. Cape Town was just a little bit dead. I was over it, so I moved back to Joburg. Here I am knocking on MDs and CEOs' doors, direct mailing them. I have their direct emails. I go onto LinkedIn and I contact info. I get those direct emails. Sending beautiful emails to them. How are you doing? I hope you're well during this time. Honest to God, genuine email. Let's connect. I'd love to get on a Zoom call with you. Fuck all, return on that mail. There are so many gates and doors, and they want to keep it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, like, keep in mind that just reaching out to someone, everybody's busy these days, and there's so many.
I got that. But then again, send a mail back to me saying, thank you so much for your email. I have read it.
Yeah.
And thank you for taking your time to actually want to offer your services or just show us what you're doing, because we could actually use it within our agency. Fuck all. Nothing.
So from a marketing perspective, we call it the sales and the follow-up. So what we do is we'd never send just one mail. Even if it's an existing client, we're asking for content. We'd say, send a mail, 2-day follow-up, 3-day follow-up after that, 5-day follow-up after that. So in 2 weeks' time, you followed up three or four times.
Yeah.
And we've seen that most people respond around follow-up number 3 and 4. That is when people, because then, and then we make it emotional. We're like, hey, listen, so occasionally our emails end up in spam. So I don't want to speak to our IT department again. Just confirming you got my previous mail.
Yes.
Otherwise I'm going to have some hard words with the IT department.
Yes.
And I phrase the mails like that. Like that's especially to new leads.
This is psychological.
And then people go, oh, let me just respond. Hey, Jandre, I did get the mail. Thank you so much. We're super interested. Or, we haven't had time to look at it. And I'm like, sweet, thanks.
Yeah, bro. Now you can actually mark your lead where you want it to mark it.
You reached out to me. Let's just keep in mind, because that's what happens. People come to us and then they want our services. Then I send them something.
Yes.
And they just get busy.
Yes.
And they obviously life gets in the way of everything. But not to digress too much, essentially the sales and the follow-up. And we've seen if you follow up 3-4 times, that's when you really get a response. It's just human nature. Life is in the way. But you're absolutely right. Sending one mail, no matter how long you have done your research on this person and you've touched on it and made it so personal as you can, doesn't mean you're going to get a reply.
It's been hectic.
It's a numbers game.
That phrase to me, it's been hectic. No, it has not been hectic. Get a PR agent who's going to answer. Do the stuff that you can't do.
Yeah.
It's just etiquette. It's human etiquette.
Listen,
I can't force anyone to reply to a mail.
No, exactly.
But come on.
Yeah.
Here's a product that we think, and we're not here to force anything on anybody. Yeah. Give us 5 minutes on Zoom, 10 minutes on Zoom. Chop.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna create that and send everyone the link and say, if you want, I'm gonna do this freaking Zoom meeting again.
Yeah.
Pop in.
Awesome, man. Look, let's. I'm gonna start focusing on the value side of the podcast, moving into maybe some tips, some strategies, and some ideas for those listening.
Cool. Fantastic.
The first question I have is really when an SME business owner like myself, when we had to when we're considering creating a video marketing strategy or just a video in general for the business, what's the first, what do we need to do? What do people need to consider? What elements do people need to think of? What's the story? Where do you begin?
It's a great question. What does your brand stand for? What does your company, your SME stand for? What is your USP? Unique selling proposition. And I think once you really start asking yourself that,
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know how many companies are small to medium-sized businesses specifically because they probably haven't gone through the whole creative process.
KPI.
Yeah. But a lot of them don't know what makes their product unique. Personal touch and quick turnaround time. No, that's not necessarily a USP because that's subjective. Because a quick turnaround time for me is not a quick turnaround time for you.
Yeah.
What really makes your company unique? And a lot of them struggle. But understanding that is the first element. That's what I'm hearing you say, right?
Yeah. And I think what you really got to figure out is what different categories of SMEs. So your product online selling a product. That's okay, cool. Is it a startup? Yes, it might be. But so you start to get into another category of a startup when there's different certain points. Your scalability. Can it scale easily? Are you utilizing tech? Are you using any kind of crypto kind of payments? And let's just look at chatbots and WeChatbot and fintech is booming.
Yeah.
Agri-tech is booming. And so that's kind of easy because you've got a great thing that's working, that's selling, that people need. And you can build it better, and so then there we go. Now and again, coming back to figuring out what your USP is it's the product.
Yeah.
But I think if you're an SME, you've really also got to decide that you can change that whenever you want.
Yeah.
To be able to pivot in an agile sense, and I'm sure a lot of people have had to do that now. I've seen really great examples about a company that was creating denim jeans, and their sales stopped. I can't remember who it is, but they started making denim masks.
Okay.
He's a great Joburg South African designer.
I didn't follow that story, but I'm sure
Yeah, and they pivoted and now they make a mask and they managed to sustain their company through this time. So it doesn't matter if it's through Corona or any kind of world-threatening forced pivot.
But let's say you've got your So let's say you've got your USP sorted.
Yes.
Next elements, like what do people need to consider? I mean, when it comes to creating a video that you feel is going to resonate with your audience, or what's the story like? What do you do? Like, think about maybe how you create your content. Like, what thoughts go through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I could speak personally about VIDR, but I think also in general, after being I think you've just also really got to make your company kind of flow as easy as possible. If you're going to be using kind of accounting software, that kind of stuff takes off a lot of hard pressure.
Yeah.
If you get those things, your fiduciary things done first, then you can actually start to really focus on what your offering is, how you can pivot that offering, and also another great tip is just listening to your clients.
Yeah.
Really, without your clients, there is no company. There is no SME.
But hold on. I think maybe you're not sure what I'm asking. So from my side, specifically when it comes to creating the video, so we're talking about. Maybe I'm confused. So you've mentioned accounting software. You've mentioned pivoting. I'm referring to the video that you create that you're going to put on Facebook.
Fine.
What would you have to have a USB sorted out?
Yes.
In order to make a successful video that's going to do well in the digital field, what else do people need to consider when it comes to producing that specific video?
Yes. Well, just to finish off what I was saying, like I'm running a company, so just have those things done, and now that's
great. Cool.
You can
awesome.
now focus on the video production side of things. My bro, production's production.
Yeah.
Like from a very visual kind of sense, sometimes I'm shooting a product.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Other brands that I've worked with have been a lot more conceptual, where a kind of a vitamin company at the beginning of lockdown, we shot a couple of spots, and we got a location, we got models and actors, and we shot 4 different spots, all filmed in portrait, and because it was for a kind of a vitamin company, we couldn't release them because of Corona and how that all changed. So it wasn't relevant anymore. So I think be more specific though, like, because production's quite straightforward.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what your company is.
Specific with the messages you want to articulate, I suppose, because I see a lot of people creating videos just for the sake of creating videos. So they will do a video, but after watching it for 30 seconds, you actually have no idea what the company... And it's usually with lower production, self-made videos where someone would go and create a video about their business. After watching it, you're like, but hold on, what did I actually watch? Like, I don't know. I don't understand. What action do I need to take? Essentially, what unique selling point you have, as we've discussed. What is the benefit in it for me if I had to do business with you? There's no emotional connection. So essentially, people just create content for the sake of content, and they think that's going to sell, but that's not necessarily how it works.
Yeah, then I think you've got to be very specific about what you want to say as an SME or a company.
What questions do you ask your clients? So, for example, if a client comes to you and say, "I want a video," what do you do? Is there a certain?
I draw them and I say, "Well, what do you want to? What do you want it to do?
Yeah.
What do you want it to say?" Like just recently with Mofire.
Yeah. Can we just for fun? I want to do a video.
Yes.
I'm your client.
Okay.
I've mailed you. You said let's do it. I've paid you.
Yes,
How's it? How are you?
Well, good.
Okay, your cost is affordable. I'm super stoked. I'm keen to try this innovative method of shooting it on a phone.
Yes.
Let's go.
Where's it going to sit first of all? Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook?
I want to specifically put it on Facebook and Instagram.
Fine. Completely different message now because a different market.
Yeah.
If you had said LinkedIn, we're going to have to try and shoot this a little bit differently. The script's going to be different. All right, fine. So let's focus on Facebook and Instagram.
More chilled, laid back.
No, maybe not really.
Okay.
The stuff that I'm seeing these days is super quick, super fast. And I've seen this for a long time.
True. You're hitting the nail on the head.
Yes.
So the stats show that people on Facebook drop off after 10 seconds of watching a video.
10 seconds, mate.
90% of people drop off after 10 seconds.
There we go.
So what do you do?
And I think similar
how do we
numbers
how do
on
we
Instagram.
combat that? I want to make a marketing video,
There we go.
and how do we
You
keep
wanna-
people entertained?
You want to make a marketing video. Now, what are you marketing? Yourself or or a product?
I'm marketing our services and the fact that we've able to generate real results for real clients.
Brilliant. Perfect way to start. Opening screen. Are you going to be, do you want to be in the office, or you want to be talking to camera, or are we going to kind of,
What do you think is going to get the audience attention?
there we go. I think, you know what? Face to camera, definitely. Look at Gary V.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how he,
And because it's personal, it will work very well on Facebook and Instagram.
fantastic. So,
Or any social network.
yes. Now, because you're going to be targeting it, you now know that you're speaking directly to the people that you want.
Yeah. I want to speak to business owners, obviously.
Fine. Okay, business owners.
Maybe even a bit more specific. I want to speak to business owners in the e-commerce space specifically.
Okay.
So if you have an online store, I want to speak to you.
Yes. So then maybe you should start out asking the question.
Are you a business owner with an e-commerce store?
Possibly. Or are you getting the best out of your online store that you can? Are you... You're probably not doing your best
I
because
like the
you're worried.
open-ended question that you've put there because it makes people think.
There we go. No, I'm not. You've got them for another 2 seconds.
It's not I like you think about it for a second because it's not, the question is,
Do you have time to do this as a business owner? Do you have the time? Do you have have you upskilled yourself to know these things? No, I haven't. So I need someone to do it. Sales equals likes. I like that.
well, that's what
There
we
we
are
go.
about.
V8, fantastic.
You know how many clients have come to us and say, this agency, we've got thousands of likes, we've got zero sales. That is where the slogan came from. Literally, like sales beat likes purely because you can have one like on your post, but if you made 2 sales, then we succeeded. And a lot of people are very romantic and sentimental about the 2 likes. They're like, oh, nobody's liking my content.
Yeah.
Dude, people will buy if they like the content. The content gets them to buy.
Yeah.
Don't look at the likes.
Yeah.
Look at the sales.
Yes. And this is where kind of you and me, we could chat for hours about this. Like, you have the know-how and the detailed experience in that back-end sales and your funnel, and that's great. I'm the
front end.
I'm the front end. Like, okay, here we go. We're gonna start, and literally in 3 seconds, literally in 2 to 3 seconds.
So we're asking our question.
You've got to. Are you doing the best you can with your online store? No. Why not? Because so people can start asking themselves the question.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm not actually looking after my DMs.
Yeah.
I'm not looking after my my emails. Because I'm too busy trying to find stock that's coming in.
So is that what the rest of the video would then look like? Is talking about those pain points, or
Yeah, you could probably go into, well, we know this because you've done your research.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing about video as well. It's not just like
finding the real pain point.
finding the real pain point about your clients, or finding maybe not even pain points, but I don't know what, it's not really a pain point. It's more like I just don't know
What's going to make their lives easier?
Yeah, and I just don't know how to do this myself. I know that leather wallets are amazing. So I have an online store that's making leather wallets, and sales are going well, but I'm not targeting, or I'm not.
Definitely room for improvement. I don't have time to reply to all the messages, or I don't have time to take care of all the orders, whatever it is.
As a founder as well, like some of the things that I don't have a freaking clue about.
Yeah. Or I spend my own money on Facebook, but I'm not making any sales.
There we go. So and the cool thing about video and the Insta video part of it is that we can shoot, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg like in TV campaigns where you put a couple of bar into a TV campaign, flight that, and hope that it's going to do well, depending on what you want to do. Our fail fast methodology, it's just a startup methodology, works because we can test. We can shoot something really quickly
and then test it and see if it actually worked.
And test it
and then test the next video.
There we go.
So
we can do that all in a couple of hours.
Okay, just to curate the information a little bit and make it a little bit easier to digest. Number 1, understand your USP. Number 2, make sure that you understand people's pain points.
Yes.
Number 3,
Listen to your customers.
listen to your customers. Number 3, when it comes to creating content, decide what platform you're going to be focusing on, and then that's going to put you in a different pillar when it comes to creating the actual message. Now we've chosen a platform, Facebook and Instagram in this example. We know people drop off after 10 seconds of watching it, 90 to 95% of people. So we need to grab people's attention in the first 10 seconds.
100%.
And we do that.
3 seconds.
3 seconds, you're right. You're absolutely right. So we've got 3 seconds to make them not skip the ad. So we need to say something bold, something that makes them think, something that makes them go, hold on, let me just listen or hear them out.
Possibly.
Also considering the fact that most videos on social is on silent. Like
Yes.
you have to tap the volume button.
Yes.
And I've actually seen an ad where someone goes,
Unmute
do
me.
this. And
Yeah.
for those listening who couldn't see that, I was mimicking that you need to push the sound button down because that's the video, how they did it. Like Facebook has got
Smart
that little
strategy.
left, on the left-hand corner.
The microphone.
The microphone. So the guy was just mimicking going, hey, click that. And the guy stops and go, what is this guy trying to tell me?
And then when, obviously, because he's of the timing of the video, he knows that you've clicked it. Now that you can hear me,
Yeah.
bro.
Well,
I mean, come on,
imagine he doesn't do it. That'll be embarrassing.
Yeah.
But funny enough, you know how many people start with their logo when it comes to a Facebook ad?
I've done that
They
before.
do.
and
They've
now I
done
just
like a
keep-
5 to 10 second intro of their logo.
Yeah, and I've scrapped that.
That's not how you do it at
No.
all. Just for those listening.
Maybe when you have traction, and yes, you can, because that would be
If
a
people
different
already
kind of-
resonate with your brand, so in my case, when you're retargeting your audience who might be a more mature database who completely understands your brand and knows exactly who you are, because when they see like the Coca-Cola logo, the Apple logo, they immediately know what's happening. But
They
again,
trust and know, yes.
yeah, so they know who's speaking to them.
Yes.
But then you need to hope that you've built a good enough brand to get people interested to actually watch what you have to say now. You're
Yes.
like, hey, what is this brand trying to tell me?
So then you can have a different kind of look and feel of a video.
Yeah.
But if you're targeting new leads,
But cold audiences, leave the logo for last.
yeah, 100%, or maybe not even.
Yeah, or leave it completely. Because you'll have a thumbnail on Facebook anyway.
And sometimes like logos are again silly,
Yeah.
like
Overrated.
overrated.
I
I
think.
mean, Gary Vee has a signature that I really like. That's just quite personal, and also on your emailer too. I mean,
Yeah.
I get an email from you, and like you're signing your name.
Yeah.
And that's personal. That's lekker. And it's like
I actually wanted to remove that. So you actually liked it.
I did like it.
Cool. I'm going to keep it then.
Because I am my brand. I am a brand.
Yeah.
I'm a human being. Like I've earned. That's exactly what Gary Vee is. Tim Robinson. Yeah.
Tony Robinson.
Tony Robinson. Sorry, Tony. Love you.
Tony's very upset right now.
Yeah, he's crying with his big smile. But I mean, there we go.
And expensive teeth.
Yeah, super expensive.
Hold on. Okay, before we digress.
I know.
Yeah. Continue. Okay, go for it.
Here's the thing. It all depends on what and who you are as a brand. Like freaking KFC, we know they make chicken. I mean, I here's a great story. I went to Perennia. Man, they're gonna kill me if I get there. Sorry, I have to.
No ways.
Anyway, there's a great brand who's wanted me to create content for them, and they're a family-owned business. I won't mention their name.
Okay.
They create the best Portuguese peri peri chicken in the South. They are amazing. They've been around for 45 years. And I mean, we can put a little name logo. I just don't know how to pronounce it, but sorry guys, I love you. And I spent the day with them yesterday. They took me out to lunch because we're talking about how we're going to film the heritage of their company. Just because their mama is like Portuguese family who started a restaurant in an old police station, and now they are the stalwart of Portuguese peri peri chicken. So look, it all depends on what you want to say.
Yeah.
What is your brand? Do you even need to market?
But
Do
let's talk about my example. So now
Please,
we
go-
decided that we're going to target e-commerce business owners. We asked them the intro or opening question. Are you getting the most out of your store, or are you actually generating results
Yes.
on Facebook or
Yes.
Instagram? Because we know that you're watching this obviously on this channel right now, because that's where we're advertising. We've done that. What now? So what would you advise me to do? So what will we do?
VIDR's focus is definitely on bite-sized, lots of content. The big mistake in traditionally has been like in videography or filmmaking, not talking about TVCs. Let's shoot a 1 minuter and put a lot of budget into it and hope that it goes well. And we can retarget that, and we can share the link, blah 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 blah. Ask people to share it, whatever. Get a great influencer to. We'll get the numbers. Fact of the matter is, no. These days, many different 15-seconders. Always top of mind. Retain your client's attention. Engage. And now that's why we've made it easier to do that. Because we could shoot a whole bunch of content in a certain amount of time, and we have that content. We can rehash edits out.
What I like about what you're saying is that,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
as opposed to shooting one video that just flows for a minute,
Yes.
rather shoot numerous different scenes, different actions. Shay will say cinematics, but he'll curse me because probably the wrong place to use it. But anyway, I just heard the word cinematics like a lot over the last couple of weeks. So I'm like, cinematic this. But yeah, so that makes your brand look actually a lot bigger than it is. Because if you, for example, had to come to us and we'd had to do a behind the scenes shoot, you'd have footage of me, TJ, Shay, Gilbert, Melissa, Andy, Bia, whoever. And now all of a sudden you immediately, if it's like 10, 5, 3-second clips of all these staff members, you can see that, okay, cool, this is a solid company with people working there, actual people. It's not just like one guy working out of his mom's basement or something like that. So
That's pretty cool as well.
So you're really building some form of trust and credibility. And the more different scenes you have, and the more ideally you can get these kind of like bite-sized, pieces of content across. Your brand, just essentially you articulating more information in the same time. Basically, is that what it?
Yes. So look, you're being strategic about it.
Yeah.
We're not just coming into like, let's take V8.
Yeah.
For
So if we wanted to articulate that we are a real legit agency, then that would be the strategy technically, right? And maybe showing how we actually helping clients, and maybe actually having 1 or 2 or 3 clients in the video, maybe. Or
yeah, I think then you got to focus more on like a case study.
yeah, we've done 2. We've sent them to you. We want some constructive criticism.
Fantastic. But now see, that's when you're actually showing data and you're showing results.
Yeah,
And what were the client's ROI, and that's what clients really want to know.
yeah,
So that's the other side of creating content strategically. But nowadays, and again, it all depends on what you want to do. If you want to market a new product, you're going to have to put a lot of time into creating edits that you can pump and push. Not just putting all your budget into a 1 minuter.
okay. Because that's my next question is like
yes.
quantity versus quality. Like what?
Good question.
How do you find the balance?
You know what? VIDR is in the space between a user-generated content feel and quite a high cinematic feel. We're right slap back in the middle. We found that too cinematic, the brain turns off. It's come down to neurological.
For those who don't know what cinematic is, like I don't even really know what it means. Like I just know the word.
Cinematic is the kind of visual effect that you're getting from certain cameras and lenses and depth of field.
Okay.
Cinematic.
Can you shoot that on an iPhone? Does that what you do on an iPhone?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Because of the lenses that we're using. So
Okay.
Moment are making these cases. We've got them from the States, and we just bolt a massive piece of glass into.
Okay.
I'll send you a pic of them. Anyway, so we're getting a cinematic look.
Yeah.
But we're still using an iPhone. So we're playing in that middle field.
Yeah.
But here's the weird thing. I just want to touch on this. Quality versus quantity. It all depends again. You want to go hard ass launching a new product, quantity. Quality, definitely. But then again, maybe it's not suiting your market.
Mm.
Who's your market? Do they like shaky handheld video? Possibly. So the quality doesn't have to be that great.
Yeah.
It all depends on when you start to look at a brand, first of all, and say, well, what references do you like, actually? What have you seen online that you think could fit your brand?
Yeah.
Oh, we love what Nike did with the split screen edit, and like,
Very cool.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We want that. Okay, hang on. Do you know what it took for them to do that? I mean, my word, I don't think a lot of people have kind of worked it out. I'm probably gonna go spend the rest of the day trying to figure out how they did that, because that's really kind of
Timing.
tracking
The
and
timing
lining up a lot of
perfect. Yeah.
It takes a lot of planning and strategy. Anyway, the fact of the matter is,
And you pay for that.
and you pay for that. So we're playing in between high quality cinematic loads of gear and user generated content, because
Yeah. We've seen that on social. Sometimes user generated content actually sometimes does better than a highly produced video.
there we go. During lockdown, there was a brand that Woolworths was the brand that created a very sweet user generated content-esque video with Cyril speaking in the background. Quite a nice motivational video. We can do it, or that was their kind of payoff line. I think we can get through this. But it was all user generated content that was obviously sent to the production company. That works.
Yeah.
It works. It's freaking Woolworths. They didn't have any choice.
Yeah.
They couldn't go film, but
They did something
they
that worked.
yes, and it was authentic and it was beautiful. So
Be authentic.
be authentic. It all depends on what you want to do. Video is so dynamic these days. We can shoot.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, here's the thing. It's original content that we're creating for a brand.
Yeah.
It's original. Lots of apps out there, like you can download stock film or stock pics of this and that, put your own animations on. Yeah. You know what? There's too many of them out there.
I hate stock imagery. Like, I mean, they've actually used now, Shay and TJ, we subscribe to something that's quite unique. Like, it actually looks like authentic stock imagery, if you can actually, put those two words in the same sentence. But essentially, the first thing, I'm on the internet all day. Like, I'm in front of my computer all day, so I see everything. And the moment I see a stock image somewhere, I just know that I've seen it before, and it makes the video feel cheap. And I think a lot of consumers feel the same way, because again, they're also on their phones 3, 4 hours, 5 hours a day now, according to the latest stats. So they see the exact same stock image that you've used for your ad, they've seen with another brand's ad, and that just kind of like cheapens the brand. So you're saying that the solution is to try and find a cost-effective solution to just shoot as much content as possible, and then make sure that it's authentic and organic. Yeah,
we have.
Yeah, obviously you have, because you're using the phones. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we've made it cost-effective. Because we know how much video content cost to create back in the day.
And then from a marketing strategies perspective, because we would get business owners coming to us and say, okay, cool, I want to do a brand video. And then, it's up to me or someone more senior to decide like what kind of, if we're going to do 3 or 4 videos or just maybe one proper video. And I think that's where quantity versus, hold on.
Quality.
Yeah. I've already... Hold on, I'm confused now. Cost versus quality. We've talked about that. But I mean, we'll just cut that out. I've confused myself now. Okay. But anyway, so essentially then we would have to, give some advice. Are we going to do, 3 or 4 different videos, or are we going to do just one proper video? And I think that's my question is, it also depends on the message of the brand, what they're trying to achieve. But in my opinion, living in a high, fast-paced world, especially if you're going to advertise on a platform like Facebook and Instagram, you're not going to get away with just one video. So rather drop the cost per video and do a couple of them versus just putting all your money into one video. What's your opinion on that?
What we're doing with clients' budgets, we're maxing that out.
Okay.
Usually, I mean, because we're also new to the market and kind of quite new to Joburg, we're saying now we're here. They haven't known about us and what we do. Now they're starting to, and they're seeing the huge value. And they're like, oh, we've allocated a budget to do a 2-minute film, but let's do the same amount of shooting, but you're going to get 10 edits out of it
Yeah.
or 20 edits out of it.
Okay.
And that's valuable.
Yeah.
Better bang for their buck, if you want to call it that.
More so just one final edit and that's the end of the transaction.
Yeah, that's done. That's so done.
And, to slowly but surely conclude basically what we've discussed today, I think this might take some time, so it doesn't mean we're going to end off. But I think the final note is if you were sitting in front of a business owner, which you actually are doing.
Yes. Hello.
How's it? So give me, if I wanted to do this myself with my own iPhone, a lot of people don't have the necessary budgets to obviously take on your services or anybody else's services, no matter how cheap. And I think if you had to just give me some advice. So earlier I was saying, in terms of your Facebook ads, I was like, don't do this, don't do that. What would you tell me if the conversation was reversed and I was like trying to do video by myself? Is there anything that just pops into your head saying, okay,
there's plenty.
Go for it. I want all of them.
I brief. You know what? First of all, if you're gonna start doing any video, you've got to do it.
Okay.
And you've got to stick around.
Are you saying be consistent?
Be consistent.
Okay.
So even before you even pick up a phone and point it at your face, realize a few things. You've got to be consistent. You've got to know your messaging. You've got to know who you're talking to. You've got to know the tone that you're going to use.
In terms of being funny or sarcastic or just general tone, or what are you referring to there?
Yeah. Or are you going to put on a mask?
Yeah.
Are you going to?
Or just going to be yourself?
Yeah. Or are you just going to be yourself?
And being yourself is probably the best option, I suppose.
Most definitely. But you see, now that's where people become dynamic. Gary Vee, I'll use him as an example. He is dynamic. Sometimes he's very fucking on the go, especially when he's on stage and he's telling his audience, man, that he's so direct. Then again, he's shooting different types of content. So that's where using an iPhone or using a smartphone, is just so dynamic, because you can really, and my dude, you don't have to upload that. You can just get used to yourself on camera and you've got all this content and you're like, all right, I'm ready to edit that. I'm ready to let the world know. But there are certain things that, I've also started to experiment with myself on putting myself on camera. And I like it because obviously I'm the founder. I have to talk about my business.
Correct.
I haven't been as consistent as I wanted to be, but now obviously because my shooting season is coming up, winter's over, level 2's just been unlocked. It is now time for me to get back on camera. So I have to do that. Know yourself. Know yourself enough. Trust yourself enough to be on camera. Like Gary Vee says also, don't give fucks about the haters, man. Make content. Make it. Sitting on the toilet, bro, and an idea comes to you. Who cares these days?
You can do green screen these days on your phone.
Totally. My biggest fear is that I'm speaking to like two anal corporates up in the ad industry. Like,
everybody's so scared that
they're
it makes
scared.
But they're scared because they are worried about what their friends might think, but they're also scared because they're worried about people might think that their brand is cheap.
There we
because
go.
they didn't spend money on an ad.
There we
or
go.
Proper money on a highly produced video.
There we go.
And that's not necessarily the case anymore.
No. I've had that issue too.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from advertising. I know how to sell a brand. I know how to package look and feel, or I know how to conceptualize packaging that, or what the strategy is. These days it's changed, man. And I'm kind of shaking a lot of agencies' doors down, saying, yo, you're still back in the day. I want to show you what we're doing. I want to show you how quickly I can get you content. And what kind of content is it? And who's in the content? What is the content saying? How does it feel? How does it sound? And a lot of my content, I'm so stoked to have produced with myself and my VCPs, my video content producers, because we've really nailed it. We've really nailed it.
Okay, so we've got be consistent.
Yes.
Think about your message.
Yes.
Think about your tone. Are you going to be authentic? Anything else that comes to mind?
Obviously, just the fundamentals, like great lighting, knowing what your camera does.
Let's talk about lighting. I think a lot of people underestimate that, like I did in the beginning. Tips, advice. Do we buy lights? Do we use our camera lights? Do we shoot natural light?
I'm a natural light kind of guy. Otherwise, then you got to, you can also the color, the skin tone of the color of your skin. Then you look a little bit pink. Like I hate looking pink. I mean, you've got to be able to balance that. So it can be a bit tough. And then again, what I'm going to say is you just got to experiment. I mean, Lume cubes are like the smallest little beautiful things. They're so freaking powerful.
A Lume cube is?
A Lume cube is a pop-up Lume cube here in top right corner. Is a little square light. And it's just so powerful. You put it on a mini tripod and it's about that big. Here it is here. That's great. And you can up the power down and you can flash it. You can do whatever you want with it. It's great.
For products, I'm assuming, right?
No, also putting on yourself.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you've got to know, like, look, there's a lot of vlogger kits out there. We've been using this gear for so long that we know what kind of works and what doesn't. But you've also got to experiment with that. Also take, for instance, this hardware here. Your video is also part of the audio. So what kind of audio stuff are you using? Are you going to get a microphone? These are things that you've got to decide, and we can consult with brands and clients to move forward with them because we know the gear for so long.
What I'm hearing you say is if you, on a limited budget, use natural light. If you have a bit of money, there are cost affordable things that you can buy.
Yes.
That doesn't cost, it won't break the bank.
No.
And you just experiment and see where it goes. And obviously, the more traction you get during this process, the more. I mean, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Our first video was shot on an iPhone, but it was like in a room twice the size with no real furniture. So it was like super hollow, echo everywhere. Terrible cameraman, bless his soul. He tried his best. It wasn't Shay. Long story short, I think it's on Facebook somewhere. I should find that. It sounds absolutely. You can't even see the whiteboard that we wrote on. Like,
right.
I mean,
the
we
was off.
Yeah, but also it was so small. Like, we didn't zoom in. Like, it was just absolutely horrible. And I think essentially that's where we started. It was about 2 years ago. And then as we got a bit of traction, even though looking at those videos now, I cringe, going like, how the hell did we produce this and launch this? But nobody else felt that way. Everybody else was fine with it.
Sometimes you've got to be careful. Sometimes you have to,
Everybody else was fine with the content. Like, that's what I'm trying to say is, like, I think content trumps the actual quality. So if the content is good and if it speaks to you on an emotional level, if it makes sense, if it adds value to your life as the target audience, then you will easily be happy with something that's not as highly produced or more just authentic in terms of shot in the moment on a phone or whatever it is, because of the fact that it's actually added something to your life, value to your life.
Well, look at what Clover did recently with their Smurf Man launching their blue packaging.
I don't know. I'm not aware.
Oh, wow. Insert link.
I probably should be aware.
Yeah,
but
terrible. Like, they missed the mark. It looked so badly done.
Oh, is it?
No, it's like almost as if they said, we're really going to stuff this one up. That is our target. We're going to stuff this ad up so badly, but it's going to get the numbers that we need. I mean, it's like, come on. It's like clickbait.
Yeah.
It was literally like clickbait.
So lighting,
but it was terrible.
Yeah. So we touched on lighting. Then
I think experimenting really, just really getting comfortable in front of the camera. Forget that you're even there. Test the lighting. Test that the sound is great too, because I mean you have to have great sound.
Yeah, thank you for that.
There we go. Because if you like stood over here and like, come on.
And you get like really affordable mic lapels, and like, I think the first one we bought was like 200 Rand, and it just plugs into your phone. Not even $150 plugs into your phone, and you put it on your shirt. There's Bluetooth ones these days as well.
Yes.
Which I still want to test out because we haven't actually tested it out.
They're great. Sometimes you lose connection. We've experimented with a few, but we've settled on some really great ones. Okay. Rode mics. We're using proper gear, and we haven't stuffed up on that. Touch wood.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
For quite a few years. But the other thing is like I said, even before picking up a camera as an SME, if you need to know, we're here. Give us a shout as well. Once we've made the video, what is the SME going to do? I mean, we're actually a trifecta here. You're great at pushing and finding and getting that data and getting those leads and making those sales. We're on the front end. So we're both here to say to SMEs, not even SMEs, companies, big ones, lawyers, freaking whoever they are. Like as a team here, we can help them. Make the great video, you're getting the results.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Like you can shoot as many videos as you want. And hopefully, even as good as they are, you've double-checked the audio, double-checked the lighting, the script is great, da-da-da-da-da.
What I've taken from that is that sometimes you need to just add a strong call to action there.
Yes.
Like you need to make a video, but if you're gonna be asking for a sale, ask for the sale. But I mean, a lot of people say don't be salesy, and we get that. But there's a different way. There's different ways of selling.
Depends on who your market is too.
Exactly.
Do you know that they're listening to selly kind of stuff?
So a lot of people would say, we've created this whole video. If you want something like this, click here. If you want to learn the process, click here. If you want to get costings or quotes, click here.
There we go.
And if you've added enough value and if you've given them more information, if you actually connected to them on an emotional level, they won't mind that. It's when you don't connect on an emotional level, when people go, oh, you know what, I'm not interested. Then that's what happens. You ask for the sale, they haven't connected with you emotionally, so they go, no, I'm not interested. But if they connected with you, they go, okay, yeah, I'll hear you out.
And that's all changing again these days. Like, especially now, coming out of a freaking pandemic lockdown, people have now, I think, changed their ideas about how they want to engage with brands, how they want to engage with even just purchasing online, or what kind of marketing they've been used to, and now they don't want to see any marketing. Advertising is dying. I think advertising is dying. The consumers who love the brands are going to tell other consumers. And this is where I see the big thing about user-generated content. And what VIDR is looking forward to into the future of video and user-generated content and curating that for brands. Instead of the brand saying, sell, 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 push, push, push product. Like, now it's molding. The consumers are becoming the brand.
Exactly that. It's about creating your own tribe. And I've said this in previous podcasts where you, as a founder, or as a small to medium-sized business, and even some enterprises are getting it right, like Tesla, for example. But it's a matter of connecting people with the brand. It's about being. You obviously need a face. Elon Musk would be the face. Like Steve Jobs was the face of Apple. But people connected with him emotionally, even though he was probably quite a terrible boss, from what I've read. And I've read his biography and everything. But yet, he did good stuff, and he didn't care about anything else as opposed to producing good products that we've seen.
Sometimes you've got to fight for your fucking way forward. And
exactly.
Because if you've got a great offering, and this has been a very difficult thing for me too. I mean, how do you explain to people that we have a solution? Hey, hi, brands, agencies, give us a shot. Adidas decided to test with us, and we created great content for them. And you've probably found this out yourself too.
I did.
How to not scream so loudly, but how to also make yourself quite inviting over here,
So it's about, as opposed to shouting louder than your competitors, you want to play a melody that they want to hear.
Fun. Yeah. But now I'm shouting. I'm saying VIDR is definitely here, and we're producing some really great stuff.
Yeah, and people will see the melody when they go onto Instagram and Facebook, because that's the content that you've produced, and it's content that's going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts, anything that you want to share with any SMEs out there? Rounding off the podcast for today.
Yes. Keep on going. Flip, man. It's been so tough on all of us. Literally, I've personally just gone through a lot. I mean, psychologically, everyone has, but we're all in this together. And I think really shout out to the people who can help you. Trust in them. I mean, I've never had a mentor, and I've asked a couple of people, and they've also just like faded into the background for no other reason than that people are busy. Find a great mentor. Speak to friends, family, people, your business partners, people within your business. Open that up, because we've got to be ready for what's coming in the next 2 to 5 years.
And don't be scared to take your phone out and just shoot something.
Fantastic. Be careful that... think about a few things before you do it, or don't, or don't. You know, I think the other thing is like literally, you've got to start looking at a certain amount of budget and saying, I need to allocate this to marketing. I need to shoot video and I need to get the numbers.
Well, that's the one thing I want to add is that it's a lot of people spend 100% of their marketing budget on creating the content, and there's no fuel to take it anyway.
There we go.
And essentially, it's so important to be cognizant of the fact that really a successful marketing campaign consists of 20-30% creating the content and 80-70% distributing that content to the world.
Exactly.
Because you could have the best message, but if nobody sees it, so always leave room. If you're planning a marketing strategy with video creation and whatever, like it's really important to put fuel behind that fire. Otherwise, it's just going to die out in seconds.
Absolutely. Yeah, SMEs just keep on going. Like, there's probably so many different things I want to say to companies, because I'm also in the mix of it as a small to medium business.
Yeah, you're right in the middle. Yeah,
right in the middle. Believe in what you have. Like, literally clarify that. Believe in what you have and just keep on going and ask for help. Like,
cool.
We can't all do this on our own.
100%. Well, listen. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, let's maybe make it easy for them. Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever. Just give it.
VIDR.content right over here. That's Instagram. That one's Facebook. That one's email. And this one over here is over here. That's VIDR.net, our website.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, listen, Sean, I want to thank you for coming through.
Jandre,
I had such a great time.
Yes, thanks.
From my side, there's a lot of post talk to continue. Very, very excited about that. But from my side, thanks for coming through and thanks for sharing value, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. My first one, but I think I'm going to get used to this.
Awesome. Right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. All the best. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week.